So, hey you guys, this is your girl, the Bayou Witch. Um, so I just wanted to make a quick video. So a lot of people feel like when you communicate with spirits, um, it's one of those things where someone can ask you, well, my grandmother only knew we had a bond where she called me something that nobody else knew what she called me. And they test your abilities and they say, well, what did my grandmother call me? Most likely, most times, if you had a secret name or if your grandmother called you something that you and only her knew about, most times spirit is going to be the same even in the afterlife, okay? So if you and your grandmother had a bond and she had like a little pet name for you when she was alive, most likely it's going to be the same way in the spiritual realm, okay? So when you're communicating with spirits, sometimes it can be very, very extremely hard to do that. Sometimes communicating with spirit can be easy for me one day, and then the next day it can be a little hard. Okay, so when you have people that go on these shows like Long Island Medium or the one guy where he does these things with celebrities, y'all probably know who I'm talking about. But anyway, usually that's fabricated. Okay, one person that was in the media that I really felt was real was Psychic Sylvia Brown. And the reason why I say that is because she had a true gift, but the bigger she became, the more lazy she became. And which was what the last thing where the family wanted to know if their daughter or somebody was still alive, and she said that they were dead. It's because she got too cocky. Okay, she stopped using her intuition. She stopped talking with communicating with spirit. She believed her own hype, but basically, okay. And later found out that the girl was still alive, and that was the beginning of the downfall of Psychic Sylvia Brown. Psychic Sylvia Brown became so depressed after that ordeal. I think that she even cut back on doing work, and so I feel like that's what led to her heart attack, because it was just too much stress from all the backlash that she got, and it ultimately killed her. Okay. The same thing with Miss Cleo. Now, Miss Cleo, I believe Psychic Sylvia Brown more than I did Miss Cleo. Even when Miss Cleo was doing her thing, I just didn't believe her. I'm sorry. I just didn't. I just didn't really believe her. I didn't. I knew from day one that she was kind of a. I'm not gonna say a joke, but I kind of knew from day one, like, that she wasn't really. I ain't gonna say she wasn't real, but I didn't really feel that true gift coming from her as I did with Psychic Sylvia Brown. Okay? What the fuck are y'all looking at? Stop fucking looking at me. I'm in my fucking yard. Okay. Anyway, people are so goddamn nosy. I swear people are so nosy. Anyway, so yeah, Miss Cleo ended up getting cancer, and sometimes that can come upon you when there's so much stress and so much distraught. Like, she became so distraught after her losing her empire that I feel like she ended up forming a sickness upon herself, because sometimes that can happen as well. So let me tell y'all, when I connect with spirit, sometimes there's sometimes when I can get a clear message, and there's sometimes when I gotta try hard to get that message. Okay, which is why when people, nobody's ever challenged me in that way, but if someone were to come to me and say, well, what did my grandma or my grandpa used to call me, I may can at one moment can give you that information, and another moment I might not, because it depends on what spirit wants to feed you. Okay, it depends on what spirit wants to give you. And sometimes spirit doesn't always easily give you information. Most of the time, they'll give you bits and pieces, okay? When you're connecting with spirit, it's not one of those things where they're having a full-on conversation with you, because they can't do that. That's not how spirit communicates, okay? They can't just give you just a full-out conversation. That's just not how it happens. It usually comes in bits and pieces, and sometimes it comes so fast that you have to like get the message out while they're giving it to you, because they can give you a message and not give you that message again. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to let y'all know how connecting with spirit works. For some people, depending on the level of depending on their level of spirituality, or how long they've been doing something, or how close with spirit that they are, some people can get certain messages that other people can't. There's sometimes, like I say, when I get messages from my grandma, and other times I can't get a message from her. Okay, so I just want to let y'all know that it's not always that easy. It's not. It's very draining. When you're working with and communicating with spirit, it's very draining. It's very draining. Okay, so it takes a lot. Like, usually when I do one reading, like, or if I bring someone's ancestor into a reading, by the end of that reading, I'm completely drained. Okay, so sometimes I have to drink some water, go outside, recharge myself before I can even get to the next reading, because it's not easy at all. And I'm not going to sit up here in front like it is, because it's not. It's not. So just be mindful of that when y'all want to connect with your ancestors and you want to get a message out, because sometimes it's just not that easy. Okay, sometimes I'll get like bits and pieces of a message, and I'll have to kind of put it into a sentence myself, because it's like sometimes when I'm communicating with spirit, I'm only getting bits and pieces of that message. Okay, and sometimes it's just not even me. It's just the fact that in the spiritual realm, spirits are trying their best to get messages out to you the best way that they know how. And sometimes they might not be able to give you a full message. They'll be able to give you bits and pieces. Okay, so yeah, definitely keep that in mind when y'all are communicating and wanting to get certain messages. It takes me a while, which is why I don't like to do readings sometimes face to face or over the phone, because I have to go through a process. Sometimes it takes a minute. Sometimes it takes 5 minutes. Sometimes it could take up to 15 minutes for me to get a single message out. Okay, it just depends. So, and usually when I'm trying to hear spirit, I need it to be completely quiet, like completely quiet. If it's not, if even if I'm on a phone with the client and they're breathing, that'll kind of mess me all the way up. So I need it to be completely quiet. I have to go to a really deep place when I'm connecting with spirit. Okay, so I'm not going to even lie and tell y'all that it's easy, because it's not. It's really not for me anyway. But anyway, so I just wanted to tell y'all that, and I hope y'all are enjoying y'all Saturday, and I'm really having a good day today, and I thank y'all, and just keep being beautiful, and just keep putting that positivity in the world if you can. So until next time, I'll see y'all later.